All right, we'd like to welcome Scottie Scheffler back to the RBC Heritage, our defending champion. Scottie, if you can talk about being back here at Hilton Head this week and also taking part in the opening ceremony this morning.
Yeah, the opening ceremony was fun. It's a cool tradition here at this tournament, and it's definitely unique to this one, but a lot of fun. Amazing the crowd they were able to get for that. So that was pretty cool, and it's good to be back here at Hilton Head, and I'm definitely looking forward to the week.
Next question. What does it mean to you to be able to defend your title here this week at RBC Heritage?
Well, I mean, it's fun being back here in Hilton Head. This is we have some special memories here from last year's tournament, and it's good to be back in town. Like I said over there, the food's really good. It feels like a really easy week for us coming off of Augusta. The golf course is really great. It's a simple week for us. Most people are renting houses here in the community, and it's easy to get to the golf course. And I think it's a simple, calm week for us, and it's a lot of fun as well.
This course not as long as Augusta. Does that kind of play more into shot shaping and give the players who don't drive it as much like I won't say an advantage, but also kind of like a chance to score as well?
Well, it's definitely a positional golf course for sure. This golf course is much more about control and putting your ball in the right spots and staying out of the trouble. The fairways here are a lot smaller than they are at Augusta, and it's a much flatter golf course overall, so a bit of a different test, but definitely still a good test.
Scottie, last year your headspace was a little different. You're right there, almost ready to have your first kid. Over the last year, how has your perspective of the game of golf and just maybe life in general changed since such a big milestone?
Yeah, well, having Ben around is pretty awesome. He's a lot of fun. It's fun for us to have him here this week. I think this is the third year I've played this tournament, and we have some good memories here, and it's very exciting. Took him on a walk on the beach last night. We're getting to really enjoy being in the community here, and it's been a lot of fun.
Scottie, you've heard, I'm sure, about the firing of the cannon into the Calabogie Sound. Now that you've experienced it, can you just kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I had some earplugs. It's always nice when the cannon's going off. But yeah, it was definitely the first time I've also hit a tee shot while the cannon is going off. So that was a unique experience. But I was definitely glad to just be able to make contact with the ball and not embarrass myself out there.
What was it like swinging that old club?
It was a different feeling. No glove. I had a pretty big jacket on, so it was definitely unique, but a lot of fun.
Was it a lot heavier?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you because I'm wearing a jacket, and everything felt weird.
You've had the opportunity to be involved in quite a few ceremonies the last several years. How does this compare to it, and was this the loudest one that you participated in?
Well, this is really the first opening ceremony I've been a part of. This is something that's very unique to this tournament, and I think it's a really cool tradition, and was very fun for me to be a part of. Well, it sounds like some of us may have another opportunity to win a gold medal for our country, which is always cool. And as far as the Olympics goes, anytime you get to go and represent your country, it's a really special feeling. I haven't heard much about the format or anything like that, but a mixed team event should be fun. I don't know exactly what it will be, but I think any opportunity you can have to win a gold medal for your country will be pretty special.
Scottie, this is the first week you're using distance measuring devices. Are you going to use that this week, and do you think it's going to help with pace of play?
You're not going to like this answer, but I kind of forgot about that. And I'll just ask Ted what he wants to do. I don't really care. He's the one who gets the number, and I'm sure we'll have it in the bag. I think in the tournaments, we've been able to use it at the PGA the last couple of years, haven't we? Is it going to help pace of play? Maybe a few minutes. Will it be anything significant? No. I think this tournament, what significantly affects the pace of play is the walkability of the golf course, and I think we're playing twosomes all week, which it'll go from being probably a 5-hour round to maybe 4 hours or less. So I think when you see the biggest changes in pace of play, it all comes from, I think, going from 3 guys to 2 guys in a pairing. It's just easier to get around the golf course. And also the distance walking from green to tee is a big factor as well if you're going to save 15, 20 minutes off a round. And this golf course is pretty simple in terms of getting around.
Do you think they should be used though?
I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I think, if you get a golf course like this where it's hard to really get offline, if you get offline, you're just in the forest, and so you're kind of just punching out and hitting weird shots. I think sometimes on the bigger golf courses, when you get pretty far offline, it can be a little bit of a less advantage to a great caddy who maybe has a way of doing the numbers better than other caddies, and who maybe has put in the work to get numbers from certain areas. So it could take away a little bit of that, and I'm not sure if it'll have a significant impact on pace of play, but we'll see. It's something that we haven't tested out before. And so will it save a few minutes? I don't think it would hurt pace of play, but you never know. I guess my answer is we'll see what happens.
What's your personal preference on like what would increase the pace of play on the tour?
Well, I think the only way to have a significant impact on the pace of play is like if you look at the average round time from last week. You had Thursday and Friday you're playing in 3s, Saturday, Sunday you're playing in 2s. There's going to be a significant difference. I mean, probably over an hour difference in pace of play. But the pace of play debate is funny. I think people want to watch exciting golf. I think that's what it's all about. And let's say if we do all these changes and we save 20 minutes off of a round of golf, like is somebody going to sit down on the couch on Sunday and be like, well, I didn't have 5 hours to watch a round of golf, but I got 4 hours and 40 minutes. Like now I'm in. And so I think if we're going to spend a lot of our time and energy, I think where I would want to spend it is I want to get more people involved in the game of golf, more people to be able to come play. It's a great game. It's a great sport. And, you learn a lot of life lessons playing golf. And I think what's most important for me as a player, where I want to spend the most time and energy specifically in the game of golf is just getting people involved. I've met some of my best friends in the whole world playing the game of golf. And, it's a really special game that I think more people should want to play.
Any highlights stick out from being in the Butler cabin with Rory?
In that moment, like it was such an emotional day for him, I kind of just tried to stay out of the way and basically just get the jacket on without embarrassing him or myself. And, I got to watch the whole celebration. I watched the finish, and it was really cool for me to be able to see because I don't have the understanding of what it's like to be asked about the career Grand Slam, but I have like a small understanding of what it's like to be asked like, hey, you've accomplished this, but you haven't accomplished that. And it can be very, very taxing on people sometimes. So it was cool to be able to see Rory get the job done. And it was definitely from the outside, it looked a bit more like relief than anything because Rory, I mean, he's accomplished everything in the game of golf. And that was really the last thing for him to accomplish. I mean, the guy's won FedEx Cups, he won the Players, now he's won all 4 majors. I mean, maybe the only other thing would be the Olympics is what he'd want to win. And so for him, it was really cool for me to be there in that moment. He's a good friend of mine and be able to congratulate him and just see the joy on him and his family. It was really cool.
What can you bring from last year's win to help you this year?
Well, last year, I came to this week pretty tired from last week, and I did a really good job of kind of managing myself and how I got around the golf course, and definitely will reflect on how I played and struck the ball last year here in terms of getting ready for this week's event.
Are you less tired now?
Yeah.
It's like a pretty big, exhausting week.
Well, it was an exhausting week, but it takes a lot out of you to win a golf tournament emotionally. And on Sunday, I was in the tournament. It takes a little bit out of you, but I think the adrenaline you get from actually winning the tournament is a lot different than getting close. I'm sitting there in 18 fairway last week, and Rosie's was at 10 under. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going at this pin. I'm going to try and hold this. And then he makes it, and you're like, okay, well, the tournament's over. I lost. And you're kind of sitting there, and I'm like, didn't win. Yeah, lost, whatever. And I just look at Teddy, and I'm like, all right, Teddy, well, I guess I'm going to aim at the middle of the green now. He's like, yeah, aim at the middle of the green. Let's get out of here kind of thing. And if I, like, for instance, if Rosie misses that putt and I hole it, huge adrenaline rush, and it takes something out of you, kind of like the adrenaline rush you get from getting arrested. Like that takes something out of you. And, it's so as far as being spent, I'm not nearly as spent as I was last year. Also, the party on Sunday looked slightly different than it did last night. I still had some fun with friends, but it's just a different feeling. Like last year, for instance, we flew home and was home for a day and a half and traveled and got an airplane. That takes a toll on your body. And for instance, this year, we hung out in Augusta on Sunday and drove over here yesterday, had some lunch, got some treatment, slept in today, and I'm feeling ready to roll.
Your immediate takeaway from yesterday was just not having your best, which happens, and hanging in there and fighting pretty hard. Anything change in the last day in terms of in your thoughts? And do you have any idea why the ball wasn't going where you wanted it to? What do you mean by that?
Yes. Yeah. I told Meredith one night, one of the hardest parts of today was when I aimed the golf ball this way, it either went that way or that way. It very rarely went that way. And so it was a taxing week for me. But like I said, I haven't had my best stuff this year, but I feel like I've been learning a lot, and each week I feel like I'm improving and continuing to learn. And so it definitely is nice to be here at a tournament. I hit some balls before I came over here today, and I feel like each day I come to the range, I'm getting a little bit better. Things are starting to feel more the way they should, and so I'm excited for this week. And it's a really good test of ball striking this golf course. I mean, you got to curve it both ways. You got to hit shots. We're going to get some wind, so you're going to have to control spin, control trajectory, and I'm looking forward to this week.
Scottie, excuse me, Scottie, can you just talk about your family being here, and the whole atmosphere, family friendly, and being able to bring your family here this week?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tournament where a lot of players will bring their family. It's very easy for us to be able to rent a home in here, just enjoy the week. It's a great walking neighborhood. You stay close. Like, the restaurants are great. We're staying close to the beach this week, so already took Ben on a couple walks on the beach. He ate some sand yesterday. A lot of sand yesterday, actually. It's a lot of fun. It's nice for us. We have some friends coming in town to stay with us this week. I'm just looking forward to a relaxing week, get to enjoy some competition. And it's really, for us, it's an easy week and it's fun. You get to bring your family, and I don't really know how to elaborate other than it's a lot of fun.
One more, Scottie. It's not really a looking back question, but considering that you basically started the year a month late, did you find any sense of urgency in trying to catch up with Augusta? And is there any part of you going forward that now you're almost back to normal in terms of catch-up time?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's definitely an aspect to that. Not only because I started a month late, but I was set back 4 weeks by injury and not being able to do the stuff I would normally do. So, for instance, when you look at the offseason, I have things that I try to improve on, accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, felt ready going into the season. All of a sudden, I got to take a month off. And a lot of that time, it feels like you're starting over because you lose strength, lose mobility. I did my best to keep those things up, but there's only so much you can do with one hand, and I don't want to do a bunch of workouts on this side and then come back and this side be even weaker. And so, and the practice as well, taking 4 weeks off golf is an extended break, and I would typically take that right after the season ends, so I have time to build back into the course of the regular season. And this year I wasn't able to do that, so I was playing a bit of catch up, but like I said, I feel like I'm improving each week. Body's starting to feel better, swing's starting to feel better, and I feel like I'm working towards having another good season. And I haven't had my best stuff this year, but I've had some good finishes. It was definitely good to be back in contention last week and in Houston, and the feeling of being in contention in a golf tournament is a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to do that again this week.
Take some inspiration seeing Rory win the career Grand Slam. Is it something inspiring?
I feel like whenever I see somebody win a tournament, like the feeling you get from winning a tournament is a pretty special feeling. For me, I wish it lasts longer than it did. It doesn't really last very long, but I mean, watching anybody accomplish anything in the game of golf, it takes a lot of work, and I don't really think very often about career goals or anything like that. I try to do my best to stay in the present. And was it pretty awesome watching Rory win the Grand Slam? Yeah, of course it was. But as far as my life goes, I try to stay in the present, and so right now I'm focused on this week, and then when I get home next week, I'm going to be preparing for my next tournament. And at the end of the day, I try to find my motivations all internal, and was it really cool getting to see him accomplish that? Yeah, of course. I mean, winning the career Grand Slam, I think that's something that any golfer would dream of. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get the most out of myself, and that's about it.
All right, Scottie, I don't know if you're hungry right now, but
I am.
New tradition will invite the chef in.
Awesome.
Hey, how are you? I'm Chef Daniel Mears of Fraser's Tavern, and this is the burger that you created for us. It has got our brioche bun with sesame seeds from Ore Washers, Old Bay aioli, pepper jack cheese, crispy applewood smoked bacon, crispy onion straws, and, of course, the jalapeno peppers.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm starving, so this is perfect. Thank you.
There you go. Enjoy.
That's good.
Don't get on your jacket, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes, sir.
Good. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. That's awesome. Come on, another bite.
Yeah, you got it.
All right,
We got
Scottie,
plenty.
Oh,
for your
perfect.
time.
You got it.
All right, Scottie, you can go this way.